More than 2,000 years ago, Roman soldiers, battle-hardened men who conquered half the known world, wrote something unsettling in their war journals. They were not afraid of monsters. They were afraid of naked men painted in blue, screaming into the fog, sprinting downhill with weapons raised, stronger, faster, and more relentless than anything Rome had faced before. That fear had nothing to do with magic. It came from how the Celts trained their bodies. This is the forgotten fitness system of the Celtic warrior. No gyms, no routines written on paper, no mirrors, just nature, necessity, and a brutal understanding of how the human body becomes dangerous, resilient, and alive. Modern fitness culture tells us strength is built in buildings, with machines that isolate muscles and numbers that measure progress. But the Celts believed something radically different. Strength was not about looking powerful. It was about surviving chaos, balance on wet stone, endurance in freezing rain, explosive force after hours of marching, calm breath while your heart hammered against your ribs. And here is the hidden truth most people never hear. The human body did not evolve for treadmills or cable machines. It evolved for uneven ground, unpredictable loads, sudden violence, and long days without rest. The Celtic warriors didn't train to be fit. They trained to be unbreakable. To understand their method, we must step away from the modern world and into a land of cold rivers, dense forests, and rolling hills soaked with rain. A land where every movement mattered and weakness was punished immediately. This is where functional strength was born. The first lesson of Celtic fitness begins with movement through terrain. Long before structured exercise existed, Celtic warriors walked, ran, climbed, and carried across vast landscapes. Archaeological evidence suggests warriors regularly covered over 20 miles a day, often while armed. This wasn't cardio for the sake of endurance. This was conditioning under load. Modern science confirms what they lived daily. Studies show that loaded walking builds joint integrity, strengthens connective tissue, and improves cardiovascular efficiency far better than steady-state running alone. Walking with weight forces the body to stabilize itself naturally, activating deep muscles that machines often ignore. For the Celts, hills were their stair machines. Forest floors were their balance trainers. Rivers were resistance pools that fought every step forward. Each journey hardened the feet, strengthened the ankles, and trained the nervous system to adapt instantly. The takeaway is simple and uncomfortable. Real fitness begins when the ground beneath you is unpredictable. Walk more. Carry weight. Choose uneven paths. Let nature challenge your balance and coordination instead of removing it. The second lesson lies in how they built raw strength without lifting iron plates. Celtic warriors trained with objects that fought back. Stones torn from riverbeds, logs soaked with water, weapons heavier than anything you'd find in a modern gym. Lifting a stone is not like lifting a dumbbell. It has no handle. Its weight shifts. Its surface tears into your palms. The body must recruit stabilizers, grip strength, core tension, and full body coordination all at once. Modern research on odd object lifting shows higher muscle activation and greater neurological demand compared to standardized weights. This is why Celtic strength looked different. It wasn't symmetrical or polished. It was dense, functional, alive. Their backs were built by lifting fallen trees, their shoulders by throwing spears and swinging blades, their legs by squatting with uneven loads, not perfect barbells. The science backs it up. Irregular resistance improves proprioception, injury resistance, and real-world power transfer. The body learns to generate force in chaos, not controlled environments. The takeaway is timeless. If your strength only works in a gym, it is incomplete. Lift awkward things. Carry uneven loads. Let your grip burn. Your body will adapt the way it was designed to. The third lesson reveals itself in how the Celts trained balance and agility. Ancient accounts describe warriors practicing footwork drills on narrow ridges, fallen trees, and river stones. Balance wasn't optional. A slip in battle meant death. Modern neuroscience tells us balance training strengthens neural pathways between the brain and muscles, improving reaction time and coordination. It also slows age-related decline far more effectively than isolated strength training. For Celtic warriors, balance was trained constantly without conscious effort. Crossing streams, climbing rocky hills, fighting on slippery ground. Their nervous systems were sharp because they lived in environments that demanded constant awareness. Imagine training barefoot on grass, mud, and stone. Every muscle in your foot waking up. Ankles learning to react instantly. Hips stabilizing naturally. This is how humans evolved to move. The takeaway is powerful. Balance is not a separate skill. It is the foundation of strength. Train where falling is possible. Your brain and body will become faster, smarter, and more resilient. The fourth lesson is endurance built through suffering, not repetition. Celtic warriors endured cold rain, hunger, and exhaustion as part of training. They swam icy rivers. They marched through storms. They slept on the ground. Cold exposure, now popularized through modern science, was a daily reality for them. Research shows cold exposure improves circulation, increases mental resilience, and strengthens immune response. Endurance wasn't trained in controlled intervals. It was forged through discomfort. This created warriors who did not panic under stress. Their nervous systems were accustomed to hardship. When battle came, their bodies didn't freeze. They adapted. Modern life removes nearly all physical stressors, temperature-controlled rooms, constant food, soft surfaces. The Celtic way reminds us that controlled discomfort builds extraordinary resilience. The takeaway is not to suffer endlessly, but to embrace discomfort deliberately. Cold water, hard terrain, occasional hunger. These are ancient tools for modern strength. The fifth lesson lies in combat conditioning itself. Celtic warriors trained through mock combat, wrestling, and weapon drills. Wrestling built grip strength, spatial awareness, and explosive power. Weapon training conditions shoulders, wrists, and core in rotational patterns unmatched by modern machines. These movements trained what scientists call kinetic chains, the transfer of power through the body. Rotational training has been shown to improve athletic performance and reduce injury risk. The Celts understood this intuitively. They didn't isolate muscles. They trained movement, striking, twisting, bracing, recovering. Fighting was their conditioning, and conditioning was their survival. The takeaway is clear. Your body is not a collection of parts. It is a system. Train movements, not muscles. The sixth lesson reveals the role of breath and mind. Ancient Celtic rituals included rhythmic chanting, controlled breathing, and trance-like focus before battle. This wasn't superstition. It was nervous system regulation. Modern science confirms breath control directly influences heart rate variability, stress response, and endurance. Warriors who controlled their breath controlled their fear. They could fight longer, think clearer, and recover faster. Breathing wasn't something separate from training. It was embedded in every movement, every march, every fight. The takeaway is subtle but profound. Strength without calm is fragile. Learn to breathe under pressure. The final lesson is perhaps the most important. Celtic fitness was never about vanity. It was about belonging. Training happened in tribes, not alone. Strength was shared. Suffering was communal. Studies show social training environments increase adherence, resilience, and mental health. Humans are tribal creatures. The Celts trained together because survival depended on it. Modern fitness often isolates us. Headphones on, eyes down. The Celtic way reminds us that strength grows faster when shared. And so we return to the image that haunted Rome. Warriors charging through mist, bodies hardened by nature, minds sharpened by hardship, breath steady, balance sure, strength forged not in gyms, but in life itself. The Celtic warrior fitness method is not lost. It has simply been buried under comfort. You don't need ancient bloodlines or sacred rituals. You need movement, challenge, discomfort, and purpose. Walk farther. Lift awkward things. Train in nature. Breathe deeply. Seek balance. Share the journey. Because real fitness is not about living longer alone. It's about living better, fully present, resilient, and alive in a body that remembers what it was built to do. And somewhere, in the quiet strength of your own effort, the old warriors would recognize you as one of their own.